joy to watch next season tonight for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I am so excited. We're about to spin the draft wheel. If you're just joining us, we've got a wheel here. There's 12 names on there. The point of this exercise is nobody knows anything. I don't know. Tim doesn't know. You don't know. Unless you're in the war room, you really just don't know what the Bucs are thinking. So we'll spin the wheel. The wheel's going to tell us who the Buccaneers are going to take, and then we'll tell you all about the prospect that the wheel lands on. Now, before we get to the wheel, a couple text messages coming in. 82945 is the number. Start your text with DAE. People always like to bring up Tristan Wirfs, saying he was the fourth tackle taken off the board the year that we drafted him. He was the fourth tackle, but if you go back, and the reason I know this is because I've done a lot of research into this, because Tristan Wirfs usually gets brought up whenever I'm talking about how you don't want to take the sixth best edge if you could take the number one receiver. You know, he was the fourth best tackle according to some sites. There were a lot of sites that had Tristan Wirfs as the best and the second best. And so it really just came down to what general managers thought, and Jason obviously felt he was one of the best and thought he stole him there. But most sites had him as a top two guy. He just happened to go for. Just because he went for doesn't mean he was the fourth best. So that's how I feel when it comes to Tristan Wirfs. A lot of the ESPNs and stuff like that, they had him wrong on their board. Now, another good question here. What if Mesidor and Sadiq are both there at 15? Who are you taking? That comes in from Carlos. I guess for me, it would have to be, like, if I'm Jason Light, he's done all the research, right? And if his board says, you know, Kenyon Sadiq is the better player here and could do more for us long term, then he's got to go with Sadiq, even if Mesidor is the need. But that's if his board says that.
That's my thought exactly. You either take Sadiq or you trade back a couple slots and then you take Mesidor.
But you might not be able to trade back. And look,
exactly.
I don't know what Jason Light's grade is on either of these guys. If he has a much higher grade on Sadiq and then they're both there, then he has to take Sadiq.
Exactly.
Now, if he has them pretty even, maybe Sadiq is just slightly ahead, and then maybe you can then go, all right, he's only a little bit of ahead here. I'm going to go with the need. I'll go with Mesidor. It's really going to depend what's on his board. It's a hard question for me to answer. I'd love to say Mesidor because I know it's a need. I just don't know how much more Jason Light would value a Sadiq. I'd have to see their board, and that's the thing. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So we have the draft wheel. Tim, your spin will be first. We will spin the wheel. If you're just joining us, this is to prove that nobody knows anything.
And one of these guys is who the Bucs are going to pick tonight.
There are 12 names on this wheel. One of these guys will be a Buccaneer tonight. It will land on a name, and then we will read from the magazine about the player, and we will learn about him. And by the way, these magazines, Tim, they write some weird things.
Yes, they do.
He's got cement hands and moves great laterally. All right, here we go. First pick. This one is this is Tim's spin here.
Let's go.
Here we go. Hold on. I need a harder spin. Uh-oh, I think I broke some of it.
Come on, Nick.
And it landed on... I feel like we need the... hold on. We need the draft sound. Oh, I think Tampa Bay's going to like this pick. I think they're going to like this one. Let me see if I have the... With the first pick... off of the
Magic Wheel.
Magic Wheel, we'll call it. Tim Barnard, his magical spin, has selected. Tim, these pages are sticking together. What were you doing with this book?
Easy there, Nick. Easy.
What were you doing? It's a little sticky on the edge rusher selection here.
I love draft season, but not that much.
The first round pick that it chose for you, Tim, the Magic Wheel, is wide receiver, Mekhi Lemon.
What a wide receiver room that would be.
It really would be. Now, here's the thing. I don't love Mekhi Lemon for the Buccaneers as much as I do Jordan Tyson. I know he's higher on a lot of boards, but the reason being is he's a little bit smaller.
Well, didn't you know, Nick, that Jordan Tyson can play for all 32 teams?
That is true. Well, what I'm saying, though, is what I like more about Jordan Tyson for the Buccaneers is that he is taller.
Yeah.
All right, so let's open up the magazine here. Let me find Mekhi Lemon. He's the number 2 wide receiver in this draft. He's listed at 5'11", listed as 5'11", and that's why I favored Jordan Tyson a little bit more because he's 6'2", and I think he could play more of that deep threat role.
You want a boundary guy?
Yeah, I do. Mekhi Lemon, 5'11", 195. His 40 time was a 4.45, just slightly slower than Jordan Tyson, not much. 5-star standout who developed into the most efficient offensive engine in college football. The 2025 Biletnikoff winner enters the draft with a historic statistical profile, posting elite 3.0 plus yards per run route efficiency against both man and zone coverage. A rare prospect whose technical floor is as high as his competitive ceiling.
Ooh, I love that. A guy who's a dog.
I'll give you the strengths. Hold on. Let me grab the piece of the wheel that I broke so when it comes time for me to spin it. It was going to be impossible to land on Mezzador if I didn't put that back on. The strengths.
The board knows, Nick.
The board knows. It was almost signaling to me, stop with this wheel. It's Mezzador. His strengths, a clinical route technician. What is he, an electrician, or is he a football player? A clinical route technician who uses deceptive suddenness and rubber band body control to manipulate defensive leverage.
Ooh, he's deceptive.
You ever had rubber band body control, Tim?
Oh yeah, I'm super flexible, Nick. I can stretch all the way like Mr. Fantastic there.
Elite processing is best illustrated by his 2024 effort against Notre Dame, where he repeatedly displaced NFL caliber DBs. Oh, I wonder if they're talking about Benjamin Morrison, by selling vertical stems before puncturing vacated windows.
Is he a doctor?
I have no idea. Can we just simplify this for all of us football fans?
These guys try to sound so smart.
Physical to catch point, using late hands and superior positioning to shield defenders, turning 50-50 balls into high percentage scores. His movement profile allows him to punish press man at the line while effortlessly finding voids in the zone. Exceptional contact balance and vision make him a high-volume chain mover who creates consistent yards after catch.
Guy gets first downs.
So his weaknesses, lacks blue-chip vertical burners or prototypical X receiver length. See?
Oh, not your guy.
See?
Not your guy.
I knew what I was talking about there. I did a little bit of research here. Not the X guy, which is what they need. So I don't love this pick, Tim, but this is your pick, this is your wheels pick, which might lead trait-obsessed rooms to pigeonhole him as a slot guy only weapon. His variable speed route running is highly effective, but requires a quarterback with matching processing speed to maintain rhythm. While exceptionally tough, his slender frame invites NFL durability concerns. Physical press man corners can occasionally disrupt his timing and strong initial jam, forcing him to rely on secondary releases that can eat up the play clock. His projection relies on a team valuing technical reliability over raw combine measurables. And his pro comp would be Garrett Wilson of the New York Jets. Says Wilson's body and control and deceptive suddenness when manipulating space reminds them of Wilson.
See, I like Garrett Wilson, but he plays for the Jets. So, he doesn't have a quarterback. He doesn't have the ability to use his technical ability to get open. That's why I think a lot of people are looking down on Garrett Wilson. Otherwise, I like him. I think this would be great. Another position, another guy for Baker to throw to, and it just makes the wide receiver room that much deeper.
Again, I'm okay with wide receivers. Mekhi Lemon, not necessarily the guy I'd go with here, but again,
remember
the wheel.
It's the wheel.
The wheel's speaking to us right now.
That's right.
Only the wheel knows.
Exactly.
We don't know. The wheel knows. We are getting some text messages on Mekhi Lemon. What if shorter wide receiver has longer arms and bigger hands, higher vertical jump? That is possible. I'd have to look at his numbers compared to Jordan Tyson. But the magazine already told us he's not perfect for the X role. That's kind of what they need. The X spot was Mike Evans. You don't have that anymore.
You don't think Bucs could fill that spot?
Well, I've also seen – no, I don't think Bucs could fill that spot. I've also seen Mekhi Lemon's comp to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is fantastic.
Love that.
Love St. Brown. but he's not an X guy either. He's a guy that finds, he's always open underneath. And I think the Buccaneers are good in that category already. So to me, Mekhi Lemon is a no, unless we truly feel he is the best player available. But I can't say no because the wheel is the wheel, and it's the only one that knows.
It's the wheel is the one that's deciding, not us. We're not picking this.
Correct. Tonight, first round of the draft, cannot wait. If you're sitting there and you're waiting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to select, by the way, I'm going to spin the wheel coming up next. We'll get my pick